V.
Oh, I also got a holiday cookbook, and I'm going to make Halloween snacks. We're probably going to watch Saw for Halloween. It's going to be fun. Not us, the group, but like me and Coda.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be cool to watch like a Halloween movie or something around Halloween week. Because when is Halloween?
Maybe we'll watch one of the
31st.
streams. Something.
Oh, that would
honey,
be
you don't
like
know when
during the
Halloween
shoot, maybe.
is?
No, it's on the 31st, but I was meaning like that would be maybe when the shoot is, but we'll have to talk about that a little more.
Have you guys seen Squid Games yet?
No,
I've heard a lot about it. It looks
kind of hard for me and Coda. It's kind of hard for me and Coda to watch a show that has like subtitles because I can't see them, and the dubbing is so bad. Like I don't know about for Squid Game, but like there was some shows that were so big and everyone was talking about. We went to watch it, and the dubbing was so bad we just couldn't.
I watched it in dub. Like there were times where it was really bad, but for the most part, like I mean, I felt satisfied.
Yeah, I really like Korean shows, and I watch a lot of them, and I have watched a lot of them. I normally watch them with subtitles. Anything I watch with subtitles, I just think that if you can get the actual acting and the actual experience, it's just so much better.
Yeah,
in the dubbed version, it just ruins it for you. So the way that it'll work is I'll probably make Coda watch it like at work or something, and like on his break, and I'll watch it at home, and we'll just compare at some point if it's that good to where we need to watch it.
Is it really good?
I mean, I've heard everyone saying it's amazing.
Is really good.
Okay.
You get pretty invested in the characters, and then like you see them kind of. Well, I probably shouldn't spoil it.
Okay.
The only thing, like we watched a lot of French films that were dubbed, and those were not terrible, but yeah, normally we're still trying to get through Dark, and I think we're like on episode 3 of it, but the dubbing is just really hard. That's a good show though so far. I don't know about the end.
No, I tried to watch Dark too, but when I saw it had subtitles on, I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, that's how I am sometimes. It's harder for some.
It is, like, especially when you're watching it with someone. I feel like it, at least for me, I can pause and read if it's something like a big monologue, or I can keep up with it as much. But like when it's with other people, it's a little bit harder.
But V, are you able to share your screen, or do you want me to just try to see if I can do it through the email? Okay, I'll just try to do it through the email then. Let me see.
Oh, especially when it's a horror thing, because like you miss the scary stuff because you're reading the freaking subtitles. Ah, dang it.
Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and this is V's.
V asked if she should resend it, or do you?
No, I have it in the email. I was just seeing if you wanted to do it through your computer. Let me see.
Gotcha.
I have it. I'm just trying to make sure I have. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And I just got to share my screen.
Get back here. Get back here.
The heck?
Get back here.
Oh, okay.
Get back here.
Scared for a minute.
Get back here. Get back here.
Oh God, why did it scare me?
Here.
You scared the crap out of me.
So yeah, that's the exercise. Whisper and then get louder and louder to yelling.
It sounded like, at first it sounded so low. I was like, is there a ghost in here? Like that. And then it just sounded like really angry, like a spirit that was about to kill me or something. So she kept.
How did you record yours, and what did you use, and what did you find that was harder and easier to do?
She didn't
even
recognize it was her. She didn't even recognize it was her. She was like, "What is that?" She said on the recorder, the last one almost clipped.
Yeah, it was
It was
definitely
challenging.
challenging. But what you have a separate recorder from your camera, or? Oh, nice. She said, yeah, she does. Which one did you have, if you don't mind me asking? Just wondering. Okay, yeah, it's the same one we have. Zoom. The hardest thing about it for us when I'll show ours in a second. We did like a video clip with ours. It was getting the sound right on all the different levels. And we had to go through it a few different times and just set the levels at different spots because we didn't have anyone actually monitoring the sound because it was just me and Priscilla.
No,
So
I was
Priscilla
monitoring, but also checking the camera to make sure it was.
Right. I mean, like somebody dedicated to the sound.
Yeah.
Priscilla was like looking at the camera, and then she would go over to the sound and listen in and check if it's, if it's clipping or anything. But since we didn't have anybody dedicated to the sound, we set the boom pole up on the shotgun mic up on a boom pole stand instead of having a boom operator hold it. So that also made it a little more challenging because I wasn't sure if it was pointing directly at me. So there are a lot of complications that were coming in with it whenever it was, just one or two people. It's a lot harder.
I did think it was really interesting for us to do it like that, though, for us to get an idea of what it would be like if we were actually trying to film something and record it at the same time and keep track of the sound, because we really got an idea for how difficult it actually is. And oh my gosh, our cord, for some reason, the outlet was just being really stupid and disconnecting out of for no reason. Like if you touched it, it disconnected. And so we would record something, and then as soon as I moved a little inch or something, it would just turn off and we'd lose it. We'd have to do it all over again.
Yeah, it wouldn't save that file. On our Zoom, we were using the AC/DC adapter to plug it in for power instead of using batteries, because you can also use AA batteries, which we probably should have done because it started messing up. I need a new cable for it, I guess. I didn't even know. But yeah, that was really good, B. And you didn't clip, which is nice, and it stayed the same level.
Yeah, I liked how you went between sounding whispering and sounding a little bit you did a really good job at doing slight variations. I thought that was really cool because you went from little differences all the way up to higher, and that was a really good way of seeing the differences and measuring it and seeing how much it changes between just a slight shift in tone or shift in
Yeah, I agree. V said it, thank you, but I don't think it wasn't yelling to me. I just put more intensity in my voice. I agree with that. I would say the loudness wasn't really done at a higher level at the end, but I think for the exercise it works pretty well just because it was just you doing it. Hey,
no,
Dan,
yeah, that's what
Daniel.
I mean. I just mean that I appreciated that. Yeah, there might have been it could have been louder, but I do appreciate that she tried to do different variations and not just one whispering, one in the middle, and one yelling.
Yeah.
Because you could also see the slight differences. For me, I think that's interesting. I like music and I like that kind of thing. That's the only part of sound that I think is interesting. So when you hear the slight differences and see how the meter changes, even with a tiny difference in tone or pitch or a little bit louder, it's just really wow, it's so sensitive to I don't know, I think that's kind of cool.
You talking about the mic?
The meter, when you are looking at it and the person's making
right, and how sensitive it is once you get up high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I really want to play with the volume and try again. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the feedback. Yeah, you can definitely do it again and send it, and we can do a follow-up or compare. That'd be really fun.
Also, the way we did it, we took different clips, like I said, and we just ran different passes. You can also do it like that, where you can record two separate ones and then just slice it together. so that you set the volume, the recording levels down, the gain down on your Zoom, and then record again for the yelling. That way it doesn't clip. And then you put it up for the whispering part. That's how we did, but
So-
I think ours kind of turned out a little bit, I don't know. I'll show you guys and let's see what you guys think.
I was gonna
'cause-
say also, one thing that was hard for us was keeping it in the -12, because for some reason, like no matter how close we got the freaking mic, when he was talking regularly, it was still like, but it was still between -12 and -16. -16 and -12, and we couldn't get it to -12 no matter what for the longest time. And I was like, what? Because they said that the regular voice should be at -12 or something.
Yeah. Negative
Oh,
12
gosh.
decibels should be like around the normal.
Yeah, -12.
The general talking should be around -12 when you're recording. And then, that way you have some room so it doesn't clip when you're starting to get louder or yell or something. But if you are getting extremely loud and going extremely quiet, like this exercise, then you'll have to have somebody adjust the gain. And that's what we were trying to do. So, but I think I feel like adjusting it too much, maybe it's just my mic, but adjusting it too much kind of made the whispering a little louder and the louder part a little quieter. So here it is.
Yeah.
Hey, I really care about you. Well, aren't you gonna say something? Typical. I give my feelings and I get nothing in return. You know, you're just like all the rest. I see you looking at the door. If you want to leave, then leave. I won't care.
That's so
This
adorable.
is room tone. Wait, no.
What the
Honey, you
okay then?
What'd you say?
What
I
did I
kept that
miss?
last thing in. I kept it as a reminder, but I thought it was funny. So, because I remembered like at that last time we were going to record room tone, and then I realized it wasn't at the highest recording level that we were the highest gain. And we learned that last week that you should put the gain as high as you're going to. So we put it when I was whispering, we set the gain to the same level as that to record the room tone. But that first one, and I was just joking around at the beginning. This is room tone, but then I realized this is actually recorded quieter because we were we yelled at the last part. So
yeah, but it was interesting because I wish we would. I keep telling him this. We should make a compilation of all the bloopers from all of the projects we've had. We have so much. It's so stupid. It would be so much fun to keep, but doesn't listen to me.
You can. Hey, Lakota.
Yeah.
I sent you some pictures. You can show the group if you want from my latest film.
Oh, sure. Well, we can't see the bloopers on my thing now because I think I already deleted everything. But
Oh, V, we tried to make it a little exaggerated just so that, because like we didn't want people to think that he was actually trying to.
So this is Daniel's short film that he shot. This, what was it, last week?
This weekend.
Oh, this
From
weekend.
Thursday to Saturday. And it's just
What
pictures,
happened?
so.
Cool. So what was it about? Are we allowed to know?
You can show the group, it's fine.
Oh, aren't I showing you guys right now?
Oh, I had your message still up.
Well, I'm seeing it.
Yeah, I
seeing
can
the
see it
photos.
now.
Yeah, I was wondering like what's it about while we're going through the pictures.
Basically, it's just a family that moves to a new town because the husband's cheating person, and they're trying to start anew in a neighborhood that wears sin. They wear masks to represent sins in life.
Oh yeah, I remember when he was pitching this, talking about it last semester.
Yep, and now it's been shot.
Cool.
How was it?
It was pretty fun. A few hiccups here and there. The family was basically having the family we borrowed the house from had anxiety from how many people we had there.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I've run into that
They,
problem.
they
as
didn't
well.
know ahead of time, like how many people are going to be there, or did they
We
just
told
not?
them. We told the father, but the father didn't pass on the message to the mother.
Oh, okay.
And there was just a couple other hiccups here and there. Just small hiccups that was easy fixable.
Yeah, stuff happens. It's never really.
I ran into that problem too, where the family didn't really realize how many people we were gonna have to have over. And they were like,
And we
"Oh,
shot it
wow, I
on,
thought it was just 3 people," and I was like, "No, I mean, we're filming
We
something."
shot it on Blackmagic 4K.
Nice. Yeah, it looks cool. Looks good. Where are you gonna post it at?
I'm gonna be putting it in film festivals.
Oh, nice. Well, whenever you post it up, let us know. Well, after you're done with the film
Oh,
festivals and everything,
I'll
wherever it
release
ends up.
it. I'll release the trailer and I'll send that link to you for us to watch in the group as well.
Okay, cool.
But back to the audio thing, like I feel like, yeah, this exercise actually helped us a lot to understand well, we already kind of knew the importance of sound, but of a sound guy.
Yeah.
But gosh, this one is just like, holy crap. Yeah, definitely. Like so many little things that you need to pay attention to, and like it can change your, depending on like how it's set, or the person can like alter their tone a little bit. It can start clipping if you don't do it right. So it was a little stressful for me.
What I noticed while I was editing it is like certain words will be a lot louder than the other ones, even if you're speaking around the same volume while you talk. Certain vowels or certain words will just go way up higher than the rest and leave like a peak. So if you're not careful, you might have like the whole thing set to one level. And then if you set it too high, one part of a word might jump up and get into the negatives, or not negative, into the 0 decibel zone and start making weird noises or distorting or whatever, cracking, clipping. So you have to be careful and watch out for that. And then, yeah, just like she said, just having somebody actually like solely monitor it is something that's really important, because doing it without being able to monitor it consistently and like adjust it as the scene goes is a lot harder and adds a lot more editing time.
Yeah, and not to mention regular time, like setting everything up too, because thankfully we did it in the morning, so we didn't need to set up lights. But if we had, it would have taken so much longer. And I had to, and also because the sounds in our room, in our house, like apartment, even with the AC turned off, our roommate had his fan on and it was making a lot of noise. And then our water pipe thing is making some banging sounds that we've already talked to maintenance about. But it was just really like, oh my gosh, is this gonna end up in the recording? Is this not? We had to wait for it to stop banging, because sometimes it bangs and then it stops, for us to record room tone. So that took a while too. I was just thankful that Louis doesn't make noise and we just recorded his parts without any sound.
That's our stuffed animal, the penguin.
Does he
Yeah.
have a name?
Yes, he has a name. His name's Louis. He's been in almost all of our exercises. He's pretty much famous by now.
Louis Fooey.
But yeah, so setting up time, like, or adding extra time for anything you're doing is also something important, and something, that I've like realized over the last year, especially just because even these little exercises, it's like they take a lot longer than you think they will. So always prepare extra time than you think you'll need, because you probably will end up needing it. And if you
Because in
don't,
the
then you
beginning,
can just go home early, or you can say, hey guys, we don't actually have to have another day. And like I
yeah,
said,
like we were so excited. We had an extra 30 minutes and we're like, adventure time. Like, we'll just watch like a quick episode before it goes to work. But holy cow, before it was, oh yeah, we can do it in like 3 hours. And I was like, honey, no, we can't. And it's like, I'm sure we can. Or I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. We can wait till like the other day. And then the first couple times we would barely get it finished in time. And I'm like, okay, no, we're doing it. That was like the first time for never again. Like we learned our lesson the first time and we planned ahead every other time after that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it takes way longer than you think, no matter what it is. But it's also good to understand that and to like work around it. But what I also noticed is right when we got it all like actually set up, that's what took most of the time. Just setting it up, getting it set to the right level to start recording. And then once you're going, you can just keep going and getting it done. And that's the easiest part, I think. And it goes by pretty quick. And that's why they always say that you want to set up your stuff before. What was that?
Part of the film I just did.
The short film?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are the
Oh, cool.
masks he's talking about.
Nice. But that's why it's important to what was I saying?
Time, honey, time.
Oh yeah, because like you want extra time to do it. Because setup time was what takes the most time. And then after you set up, you're good to go. And so that's why they're always telling us like that's why they don't move around the lights too much. You record one set. We recorded all of my stuff before we moved over to recording the penguin, things like that. And if it was a real person and your lighting and all of that, that's why you want to do it that way.
The penguin has a name.
That way you don't have to, Louis. That way you don't have to set it up.
Louis needs a director's chair.
That's what's going to take up the most time. You want to get the lighting right. You want to get the sound right. And then just go.
I feel like the best thing about these exercises that we've done both last semester and this semester is just like, even if we're not in production yet, which we will be soon, but it's just great to do it like at home too, because you see the value of all those little job functions as well. Because you're like, man, this would be so much easier if I had someone helping me with this or helping me with that. But you also just understand a little bit of it the more you practice things like when we did the lighting exercises or even the sound exercise or stuff like that. It really gives you an idea of how much goes into it. It helps you be better prepared for when you are actually on set, because okay, this at home roughly takes this much time, but this one has way more equipment, so it's probably gonna take a little bit more. Like, it just relaxes you a little bit more too, at least for me. I can only speak for myself. For me, it makes me less nervous when I work on these projects with him, because I'm like, okay, I can actually do this. Pretty much. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not totally useless. Cool.
Does anybody else have did anybody else do it, or should we just move on to the next thing? Or does anyone have any questions or comments on either mine or V's?
I have
not
tons
mine.
of audio clips.
What'd you say?
I have a lot of audio clips.
You want to share one?
Hmm?
Do you want to share one?
Sure. Just give me a minute to set up my computer, because I think that'll be easier than trying to just share it through the phone.
Okay.
Wait, are the audio clips like just general audio clips or from the exercise?
Just general. I do audio clips all the time.
Oh, when you're like working on a song or something?
Yeah, if I'm working on a song, if I did some stuff for a voice reel, so I can actually just show you my voice reel. That's even better.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Sure.
That's a whole mixture of audio clips. So why don't I do that actually?
And what do? You like record them on your computer and then you mash them together in editing?
That's exactly it. So I'll show you. Just give me a moment here to find it. Yeah, so I've got tons of like video footage and everything kind of out there. Voice reel. Okay, here. If I it's on my computer, so I'm gonna pull it up and then I will think of my front camera, my start video. Hello. I'm just gonna
Hey.
how do I here it is.
He's asking how far were you from the recorder?
So I was, let me see if I can share the screen real quick. And Sarah, just let me know when you're ready.
Yep. I'm ready.
Oh, okay. 1 second then. So I was here, and about the mic was about
A little bit above his head.
a little bit above my head and a little bit back so that we could angle it
Yeah.
towards my mouth. So it was like maybe, a foot back away from where I am, and then also right above the head and angled down, right out of camera. So if we move the camera up at all, it would probably be like right around. And that's usually how they've said that you want to do, is get it as close to the person as possible.
Not a lot of headroom.
Sound from.
Okay.
But
Let me know
he
when you
actually
guys are-
had to, I actually had to tell him to like move his head a little bit down because it was like cutting off part of his
Oh,
head.
I was
like-
setting at a completely weird
He
angle. Like,
was.
I wasn't actually sitting like this. I was like crouching down a little bit because I would have been
And
out of
twisting.
camera otherwise. And so it was like completely unnatural feeling. And that's usually how it's going to be too. It's when you're filming something, it just needs to look good in camera, but it's going to feel unnatural most of the time, depending on what you're doing. Okay, Sarah, go ahead.
All right, here it is. So this is a mashup clip of a bunch of different voices.
That's because you're not doing anything about it, darling. I'm down here.
Wait,
I don't repeat myself. The girl cheats.
Hear me, humans. I am Namor, Prince of Darkness. My father was a surface dweller. What of it? The Susan Storm will stay. You have much courage for humans. Please, allow me to introduce myself, fair princess. My word, fair Princess Blair. You're one lean waltz.
Then will you make friends like the Queen said? Come on, Twilight. Just try.
And Blair. I hear from Orchidville. Radio frequency is getting a lot of interference around these parts. Probably linked to all them chaser deaths.
Go to tank, okay? Nothing more?
Come on. You're costing me coin here.
Please, just tell me why you're here. If you do not want help from me, then I can connect you with someone that can.
Things have really changed for me for the better.
Were one of those My Little Pony?
Hmm?
Were one of those My Little Pony? I don't know why, but it sounded like.
Twilight.
Oh yeah, no,
Kids.
that was my voice. So that was all me doing different voices for different things.
No, yeah, but like, were one of them like a My Little Pony voice?
It was like a kid voice.
Yeah, it sounded like a little cute My Little Pony voice.
I think it's the fact that you said Twilight. That's why.
I haven't watched My Little
Yeah,
Pony
but
in a
nice.
while.
So
I
you
even forgot
recorded
what
those on
Twilight.
your own, and then you just edited them afterward. Sarah, you recorded those by yourself, and then edited them afterward in the computer, right?
Yeah, so I edited them all together on my editing software, which is Final Cut Pro.
Nice. And how
So-
far did you have your mic when doing them? And what kind of mic did you use, by the way?
So this was all done on my phone microphone. I actually have another mic, but I need to get it working. But yes, this was all just my phone and computer microphone. So it's not super high-end quality, but it's more about like how you do it.
How far were you from your phone mic? Like from your little, from the mic on the phone?
So I've used my phone, like phones for audio since forever. So I kind of just like where I am now, like I just have it like, I don't know, like a hand's width away.
Okay.
Sometimes a little bit further. Sometimes I'll have it sitting down on the table and I'll be sitting in my chair. Pretty much for levels, it's just a matter of like practicing and then listening back. And
Yeah.
it sounds like it's in the middle and it's normal since I've used my phone for a long time. It's just I just naturally I fit into the in the middle, if that makes any sense. Like I just know where to put my voice.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Practice.
I know, like when I bought this phone, my older phone, I think the mic was quieter or something. So I remember that I would talk to people via audio or call or whatever, a lot closer to the mic, and they'd be like, "Well, you're so loud on this." I turned it down, or like, "You sound so muffly" or something, because I was like super close. I was like, "Oh, I guess this one's louder or something," and I have to go farther. And yeah, so it's
Yeah, that
different
makes-
mics. You get used to it.
That makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. I have another mic recording device that I need to get up and running. I just need to charge it and play around with the buttons. So I have another one. I don't know if it's that. And then I actually have a microphone as well, but I usually use my phone for most small projects, unless like, because if we were recording like a song for audio, we'll be doing that. I always do that in like big studio. So if I'm doing stuff at home, my phone usually does a decent.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of singers that they will just like use the mic on their phone in the like recording apps to like record a small snippet or something.
I guess because like I just use my voice a lot for practice. It's more so once you get good with your voice, you need it balances out with the audio equipment that you have. So I don't need the super high-end quality to make it sound good. I just do it because of practice. But I've been doing voice stuff for 15 years, like singing and or longer since I was like young. So yeah, I think if you have the money to get even higher like audio equipment, that's when you start getting into like having your own home huge production studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now, thankfully, there's also the fact that mics are a lot cheaper than they were like 10, 15 years ago. So Rode's mics, especially Rode mics, I know a lot of podcasters and YouTubers that get them for like a few hundred. It's pretty nice.
V, what kind of mic did you use on yours? For ours, we were using a Rode NTG2. So it's a shotgun mic from Rode.
She said it's Zoom as well.
Yeah.
I use Rode as well, but I also use Denity as well myself. Denity.
What was the Denity?
I'll spell it because I can't even pronounce it. Deity.
Oh, I think it's Deity. Or Deity.
Deity?
Yeah, I think it's Deity. But yeah.
Yeah, I've heard theirs are really good. Sennheiser has really good ones.
Those are the pricey ones most of the time.
Shure,
They have some like
SHURE has good mics.
Mid-range ones. That's another thing. Like some companies, you can get. Some companies are more known for their lav mics. Some companies are more known for their boom mics. So that's also another thing to research and see what's the specialty of certain companies. Because just because they're good at one type of mic does not mean they're going to be good at another.
That makes sense. And the thing is with technology and stuff, it changes all the time. So it's depending on what you're doing. So if you're doing home, like if you have a YouTube channel and you need to be online talking all the time, then you'll slowly like update your mics as needed. If you are more like me, where I'm in a full band, so we go record in studio. So I don't have my own home studio because I'm always in the bigger studio, if that makes any sense. So so for my personal stuff, writing, I'll just use smaller end equipment, and that's what we'll do. But so I guess it just is dependent on like your needs and stuff and where you're at. I think having a good equipment is helpful though. So it depends what you're doing.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like for auditions and stuff, it just needs to be good quality, look professional. So for what I'm using it for, I don't need huge.
As long as they can see like your what you're capable of doing.
Yeah. Because I'm never, even if I had the money to buy my own equipment, it's still not going to be in comparison to what they have.
Right.
So it's almost just like what I have is already good for what that makes any sense. With one set, we'll have like professional boom mics and things like that. And obviously I'm not going to have all of the equipment for the full set myself.
Right.
Shan sent us her audio exercise, but we're probably gonna play it either next meeting when she's here, because just so we can give her feedback in person and like discuss it and stuff like that. So probably wait for that. And if anyone that hasn't done it yet or is still working on it and still wants to show it, I think
I
Arden
think
was
Mai did it
trying to
too.
do it as well.
Mai and
Yeah,
Shane did it. So they were
yeah.
gonna. We'll
And
be
Rafa,
there some at another time.
and Shisham was asking about it. So like anyone that would still like to do it, feel free. Like you can still do it and send it to us, and we'll talk about it either after the meeting or
Does
like
anyone have
after
any
the
questions
recorded
or
part.
comments on either of those? Or
Was
any me, Sarah, V?
Was my quality good? Did it sound good?
I couldn't tell because it was coming through the mic of your
Another
computer
mic,
and then
yeah.
coming into the phone. So I think it was having kind of an echo. So I can't tell exactly how good
If
the
you'd
quality
like,
was.
you can send the file to Coda's email or the LCloud Media email, and we can see it better. Like if it's clipping, if it's echoey or anything like that. At the end of the day, it's like you said, if it's for acting, the important thing is it has to be clear. And I'm not a specialist, so I don't know how much that echo could influence in them hearing your range better. But that might be something you might want to like just research just in case.
Well, I think the echo is just because it was coming through the phone.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. But I think it's just because it was from the audio of a computer through the audio of a phone, and so it's
Yeah.
harder to.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll
That's
send
fine.
it to you guys later, and you can let me know kind of what you think on that. I do need to make.
But I did notice you did different tones, which I thought was really good. Like you did a lower tone.
Yeah.
You showed what it would be you yelling, what it would be you like different.
Yeah, I'm gonna eventually add in like more stuff, but that's kind of what I have right now. So.
The rules of thumb with voice acting is you have to have at least three characters of your own that you can do, like, or 3 characters that's well known that you can actually master. That's what they look for, like doing cartoons and stuff. I've been studying up on that recently.
Oh yeah, well I'm doing a clown game right now called Clowny the Clown, and I made a whole like audio file. I should actually, you know what I'll do? I'll also record 30 seconds of Clowny the Clown, and I'm gonna send that to you later.
Okay, cool.
Because I think
Vish is asking if I can share his. So I'm gonna share my screen again, and then we'll.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
This one. I said, here's my short clip, a lot of noise. I believe it was pre-recorded.
Shadowing you for some time, but now the night is darkening, and the time is right to follow me into the afterworld. It is fine to be afraid, but will do you no good. Your spirit will rest with us forever.
That was you?
No, that was the thing, right?
No, that's the Halloween thing that that we have on the street, and there was like they have a big decoration, and I was just noticed that. Okay, I said, okay, I'm gonna probably get this recording because it's perfect for the noise and the voice, muffled voice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was using my phone to do it, so there's no big, fancy equipment. So it was just, and I kind of moved it closer. So
Still, it didn't sound bad for a phone recording. You could hear like the laugh and the I could hear you. I don't know if you actually did get closer or not, but it felt like it got a little louder at some points than others.
Yeah. Initially, I think when I had the camera on the foot, I was a little bit.
What phone are you using?
iPhone.
iPhone what?
What was that?
Sorry.
Cut out.
iPhone 12.
iPhone 12. You can get onboard microphones for your for the iPhone 12.
Yeah, okay. I think I need to look at that.
You can get like editing sound. Like I don't know if any of you checked it out through the WhatsApp and email. I sent some audio apps that
They have
actually,
GarageBand and iMovie on iPhone now.
yeah, I just mean like some ones that are specific for audio editing and clipping and stuff like that. I sent like a link to a website that had like a few options. Brent, no, that wasn't his voice. It was a recording that he shot of a place that was doing like a Halloween thing. And he thought it would be perfect for the exercise.
Yeah, it'll be even better like for the next exercises too, because we're gonna start doing like ADR and adding sound effects. So that'll really help to like for later exercises to like do the ADR over it and try to do your own voice or do somebody else or something like that. So that'll be cool too.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we did ours in video as well. So that later when we did the ADR exercise, we could maybe like put it over it or something. We also wanted to do it like a little fun story just for it to be funny. So we like on the penguin and he was talking about, oh, you're looking at the door. We actually racked focus from the penguin to the door and him being like psycho, like looking at the doors. He's like, do I need to run right now?
Yeah. Daniel, you have your
Just
hand
make it a
raised?
little more fun.
Do you guys I have a question? Do you guys know if for iPhone 12 they don't have the jack? The audio
but you
jack?
you can get the ones that come with the microphone that plugs right into your
the
plug.
power thing.
Yeah, the power plug.
So if you mean like a dongle or something like that, because I sometimes have to, like, depending on the audio thing or depending like the thing that I need to connect my phone to, there are different dongles for computer stuff. There's different dongles for audio equipment. You can get them on the official Apple website, or you can get them even on eBay or Amazon for much cheaper, but just make sure they're legit, because there's a lot of ones that are like, oh, this is authentic, this is real Apple product, and it's not. It's absolutely not. I went through that with my dongles. Like I would buy a different adapter for my headset, and it was not the real one at all, and it ruined after like 2 days, and it sounded completely different.
Better to buy from the Apple store, I guess, right? Or maybe
Amazon trying to do it that way
is
too.
pretty good with
Just make sure you spend all the money at their store.
These ones are pretty good.
I would say you can get some pretty good deals on Amazon or Best Buy, and you can and make sure that it's the original thing as opposed to eBay. eBay's a little more sketchy with that. I found like AirPods, for example, way cheaper on Amazon than I did on the actual Apple store.
Yeah, but most of the time those are fake.
No, but they're not fake, because they actually are from the Apple store, but they give you a discount because it's an Amazon deal, or like you have to make sure and see if it actually is an Apple product, and it will have like Apple warranty, for example. Like underneath you have Apple warranty down here, and it will be certified by Apple and that kind of thing. Just like their refurbished program, where I never buy anything refurbished, but there's like an affiliate thing with Apple where you can get it refurbished from Apple by Amazon, and you have like 80% battery health and all these other and warranty and all this kind of stuff. So you got to know where to look. I normally look at Amazon and Best Buy because that's where I get the best deals. They always have discounts. But always make sure that they're legit and it's from the actual Apple.
No, because I have a friend that works at Apple that has told me, watch out buying from Amazon even with Apple products, because sometimes they will sell fake ones.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why you check if it has the Apple warranty, if it
even
is
with
an
the Apple
actual
warranty.
Well, that's the thing. You have a 30-day return anyway. So even if it is a 90-day, actually, depending on the technology you buy, it's a 90-day return anyway. So even if it isn't a good product and you get it on sale and you find out, oh, this is an original, you have 90 days to return it, and you don't have to pay to return it. You just have to take it to a UPS store, which is always my experience. I take it to the USPS and I return it if I don't like it, and they'll give me my money back. So it really depends, like if you live near a USPS and if you want to go through that. For me, in my experience, and I've bought a lot of Amazon, you can ask my husband, every time I return it, the return is very easy and very quick. If I don't like a product, or if
Yeah,
it's
Amazon is
not what I
pretty.
expected it to be.
Yeah, Amazon is pretty good.
That
I think.
concludes our sponsorship for Amazon.
I mean,
Right.
I do not sponsor Amazon. I disagree with a lot, but
I like
Hey,
Amazon.
that sure.
Yeah, but then as a
microphone-
company's kind of sketchy. But like, yeah, their
Let's
products
not
and their
get
deals
into
are
it.
amazing. But yeah, it
But
is. Anyway,
sure,
what I was gonna say is, because you mentioned that we're gonna be doing more stuff in the future, like more like
more exercises.
yeah, I would say if you're looking for props and stuff, look at the Halloween stores after Halloween for discounts.
That's smart. Yeah.
Definitely. Actually, we should probably look for our short film thing out there.
I always look there every year after Halloween and buy masks for like 50% off.
That's smart. Yeah.
When is this? During Thanksgiving?
No, after Halloween.
After Halloween. Okay, I see.
It's best to buy like costume
Because that's
stuff.
when all the Halloween stuff goes on sale, and that's the stuff not everyone.
Oh,
buys
that is the way we roll in everything. We buy chocolates the day after Easter. We go after Thanksgiving, and we buy all the turkey stuff for next year. It's just.
Hey, thanks for sharing that mics with me. I think the Shure looks pretty expensive. Pricey.
The Shure is actually a really good microphone.
They're a really good brand, but yeah, they can be expensive.
But the thing is, you're paying for the quality.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If you pay for a crappy quality, you're gonna get a crappy. You're not gonna get that good of sound. I'm trying to watch my language for you guys.
So, like we always say at the end of the day, you always have to analyze where you are and if you actually need that thing, because sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to buy this latest thing because everyone has it or whatever. But if that's not what you're needing it for, then you're just wasting money. And it's not always the most expensive thing that's going to be the best thing. Do your research, obviously. But at the end of the day, there is also that expression. I don't know if it exists in English, but in Portuguese, there's an expression that like the cheap ends up being expensive, which just means that like sometimes you buy something for cheaper and it ends up costing you more in the long run because you have to replace it sooner.
It breaks,
or it's just not.
It's easier to break, or it just falls apart, malfunctions, or something.
What Coda does that I really admire and I think is such a smart way of doing it is every paycheck he will separate a part of his money towards, and he has like an app where he can separate all of his savings and stuff like that, and he will put one that's like equipment, and then every paycheck he'll put like $5 or $10 or maybe something else towards that equipment, and then once he has enough money to buy it, he'll buy it, and he'll also wait sometimes when it's on sale or when his credit card gives him discounts, holidays, that kind of stuff.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like budgeting and stuff. Later on, we'll get into more on that, especially not really personal budgeting, more more film
business budgeting.
But yeah, does anyone have any questions or comments about the exercise or any of the sound things we went over just now, or should we move on to the next thing? Which is just going to be real quick. It's just about lighting technicians.
Brent said, "Move on. He's done with this."
I need to get my laptop and get cricket sounds, right? Right, Priscilla?
All right. So last thing is just lighting technicians. I'm just going to go over a few things that we heard when we were looking into them. Lighting technicians deal with everything electric. So they're the ones who are going to be plugging in the lights, moving the lights around, dealing with any of that. They have like the gels that they put over the lights, and they're the ones who run the cabling. Sometimes you need extension cables and stuff like that. They're the ones to handle it.
Their equipment list.
Try to keep it away from everything else and be safe with it. Make sure they know about electrical outlets and power consumption and how much it needs so that they don't overblow light sockets, and they're the ones who are, you know, dealing with the lights and helping with the lighting crew. They're the ones that are going to be doing all those jobs where either the best boy electric, the gaffer, or even sometimes the DP will be telling them what to do, depending on how small or big the set is. And they'll be like setting up the lights for the scenes. Some of the stuff, if you have a lighting technician or if you want to be one, some of the stuff that they should bring is like knee pads, because sometimes they'll be, you know, crawling across the ground to plug in cables or to hook cables together or to go underneath something so that they can hide the cables away from everything else so no one trips over it. Comfortable and practical clothing. So the guy was saying, like, don't look stylish, just try to be practical and comfortable, because you're going to be doing stuff for long
Even-
periods of time. You need to be able to
even to the
stretch and move
point-
your arms around.
Yeah, even to the point where it was like, I wouldn't recommend like Levi's and stuff like that unless you absolutely have to. Cargo pants, cargo shorts, just because you will be moving around a lot. It'll be hot. Their days can go like from 14 to 16 hours sometimes, and a hat because it'll be hot. So just being as comfortable as possible, breathable stuff, that's really important.
Yeah. So just always try to be comfortable and prepare, really, no matter what job you're in, but definitely because this type of job is going to be more physical. You're gonna have to be moving stuff around, lights, cables. They said those cables can, if you have 100-foot coil that has to be put together for the cable, it's going to be like 100 pounds or more, and they carry those back and forth to set. Those big, huge HMI lights like we're seeing up here, they can easily weigh up to like 125, 150 pounds. So you might need,
which I was so shocked by. I was like, oh my gosh, like, dudes. And then you look like,
they have to be careful with it too, because if you drop it, you know, that's not good.
Yeah. And I can just imagine, like, if you look at it, you don't think they're that heavy because they're just a bunch of cables.
Oh, I
But-
remember doing that.
But the person carrying like 100 pounds in cables, whoa. You don't
Right.
think it when you're looking at people just carrying cables. It's like, oh, that's not that bad. And then you figure out how much it weighs, and you're like, oh my.
Right. Some other things they need to bring is like a 3-prong to 2-prong adapter. That's for if you have something that plugs into 3-prong, but you only have a 2-prong outlet, or you have a 2-prong extension cable. You can adapt your whatever you're plugging in so that it can still work, and you don't have to try to figure that out on set. Multi-tool.
So we're gonna go.
What?
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say we're gonna go through a few of the things that we thought were like basic or interesting. But the first video in this part of the syllabus basically explains everything, and he breaks it down really, really well, to the point where he breaks it down from like essentials on your body, like stuff that he puts on his belt or attaches to his belt buckle or on his person, to essentials that he'll have like in a little bag and carry around with him, to not essentials but stuff that you will need and might need just every now and then, but you're glad you have. So he separates it very well, and he explains it very well, and it's the first video in that part of the syllabus. I think it's like 15 or 16 minutes, but you can put it on a bigger speed, and he breaks it down exactly, like it's separated into sections, which I think is really, really good and helpful, because he shows every single equipment, and you can press on it and see every part of the video where he talks about every part of that equipment.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see, and especially because like these kinds of tools and all the stuff he's talking about carries over to a lot of different jobs: camera department, lighting department, grip department. A lot of these use these same kind of tools, but they don't have access. It's not like one for everybody, so everyone needs to kind of have their own for just in case, because you know a lot of these things can be looked over and not thought about by other departments because they're not
like
they're
with
thinking
the
about everything
lighting.
else. So there's so much to think about. You got to think about your own stuff. So if you're doing your own production or you're having like a very small crew, just make sure somebody has all these kinds of tools, or you're bringing them yourself so that you have it, because you're going to probably need it at some point. And if you don't need it, it's just good to have for just in case.
Yeah, like how the lighting talks about having gloves. He gave a really cool tip. Like he recommended some really great gloves. And you can buy them in like a 3-pack or a 5-pack. And he also had like a little thing that you can attach to your belt buckle, and just clamp the gloves in and just have on your person, like on the corner. Like that's super helpful, and it's
I
right
just
there if
bought
you need
those.
it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
like a
super
belt
great
clip
to have.
for your gloves and stuff. That has like a little clamp.
And also, I think some I've seen some post for the production crew, and some of them kind of recommend using like those boots, which are steel toe.
Oh yeah, just in case
Yeah.
it falls on your toe or you hit
Right,
something.
and I was really surprised that some production in the crew call, they said if you don't have those shoes, don't, you would not
So
be
the
considered.
yeah, I was gonna say the
Which is kind
main
of
thing
strange.
that
Well,
because
as a
it really
gaffer,
depends on the shoot that you're gonna have. Because one recommendation that he gave about shoes was make sure they're comfortable. And I've worked with steel-toed shoes. If you get a size that's too small or too big or not like a comfortable material, holy cow, it's going to hurt so bad at the end of the day. And you're gonna be working a lot. So what he said was to know what you are shooting for, like know what you're gonna need. But more often than not, he gave like a good recommendation of some boots and some really, really comfortable sneakers. And he said, if you need to wear like boots to like trug around or something like that, make sure they're comfortable, but also know the terrain you're working in is really important.
That's one reason why the production needs to send out that call sheet, because they send out what the weather's going to be like, where they're shooting, whether it's exterior or interior, so that they're like, oh, we're shooting in a desert during the hot. Well, it's going to be really hot. I need to, at 12 noon, we're going to shoot in the desert. Then I need to wear some stuff that's loose and, breathable, because
wear
otherwise
some snow pants and some snow jacket.
if it's in the desert.
If it's not in the desert.
If it's in rain, you need to wear like rain boots and stuff that's not as, it's not going to get you soaked. It's going to wick off the sweat or wick off the water or whatever. So wherever
You
you're
wear
doing,
a Borat swimming suit.
yeah. Wear a scuba suit. You just wear those different things and be aware of what shoot you're going into, which is why that document is so important for everybody to know what's going on and where they're going to be. But yeah, so they also said have something like a multi-tool with different attachments, things like that. Those things have like knives, screwdrivers, and all these different tools that you flip out. It's like a wrench part of it, and then a part of it you flip out. It's a knife, and a part of it you flip out. It's a fill up, and part of it's a flathead, and all these different little utensil tools. And he said that's pretty much the thing he uses the most, just because it's so versatile and easy and little, so he can just carry it in his pocket. Also, you might want like a 5-in-1 screwdriver that can have changeable heads, just so that if something is a little more tight or you need to tighten it really a lot harder, you have a dedicated tool for that. Pocket knife to cut rope or cut different, like ties or cables or something like that, whatever you need to shorten or whatever you need to loosen, because you're going to be usually securing different types of equipment to different things. You might secure a light to a pole, and then you have to cut that, whatever you secured it with, later. And so it's always good to have a knife to cut that off. Practical gloves, like she was saying, and then also heat resistant gloves. So 2 different pairs of gloves, one for the heat resistant ones for the HMI and the tungsten lights, because those can get very hot. And then some just practical gloves, so that if you're doing any hard labor, you have those gloves to help you, so you're not hurting your hands or you're not drying out your hands or something like that. Markers and pens, because you might have to mark something. You might have to write a note on something saying don't mess with this, or don't plug this into this, or whatever. You might have to write whatever, or just write something for you to remember later. So it's always good to have pens, paper, and markers. There's this thing called a non-contact voltage detector. I thought that was kind of cool. It's like it kind of starts beeping whenever you're close to a cable. If it's plugged in and it has power running through it, you'll hear beeping the closer you get to it. It's kind of like a metal detector, but it detects voltage. So it just like beeps louder and quicker the closer you are to voltage. That way you can tell if something is receiving power, and if there's some kind of break in the cable, that's how they find out where it is, and they go through the entire thing and see, oh, this is where the power is escaping from, or this is what's the problem. and then they can use electrical tape or something like that to try to fix it.
And that I thought was like so useful because I don't know about you guys, but we've all, at least I've been there. I think Coda's been there too, where the cable is working fine, and then like sometimes you'll move it and something weird will happen, and it will stop
disconnects.
working. Yeah, or it disconnects, or it stops working in a
That's what was
specific
happening with our
part.
sound. Yeah, the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if we had something like that, we could see where the problem was in the cable and see if we were able to fix it, or if it's just, well, for that, it would be easier just to buy a new one. But if we didn't have time and we had to fix it on set, that would be something we could use to try to see where the problem is. There's a thing called an outlet receptacle, which is like a little thing you plug in and it shows a light. That way you see if an outlet's working. Daniel actually said that he uses a night light, which is basically the same thing. You just plug it in, see if an outlet works or not. As long as
on
it lights
smaller
up, it
sets.
works. Huh?
On smaller sets, it's perfect.
Yeah. And that way you
Yeah,
see which outlets are working, which ones aren't before you even begin, so that you're not plugging lights into something that's not going to actually work.
That was another
Especially
thing that was
on
like
location
super
scouts,
helpful.
on your tech scouts and stuff like that. Using those to figure out what's going to work, what's not, is good. If a whole wall isn't working, that's something you really need to know. So using something like that to figure it out beforehand is really good. A flashlight, you'll probably be working in the dark because you're using lights. You're using studio lights to light up the set. There's not going to be much else lit up at that point. So while you're setting it up, you're going to be in the dark sometimes, depending on where you are. So you're going to need a flashlight or a headlight as well. Those are the ones that kind of attach to your head. You'll see it on like miners use them sometimes. And it's
The
like
headlamp.
a little band that goes, yeah, it goes around the head and there's a little flashlight at the end of it. Grip clips or clamps and things that will, clamp the lights or clamp the cables.
I could.
Drama. A battery charger pack, a bank like for your phone. So you're using your phone a lot. You'll need that. Everyone will need
your
that.
phone a lot.
What was that?
You shouldn't be using your phone a lot on a set.
Yeah, but you will be.
I don't know, on
shouldn't be
smaller
thinking
sets.
that.
I know. It depends on how busy
Yeah.
the set is and everything. But yeah.
And also I know that small sets, sometimes they will have like phones or iPads with like organizing stuff or something like that. So that might help with that. But yeah, definitely. If you can, turn off your phone, people. Turn off your phone.
And then they just have like regular tools like wrenches and things like that for screwing in things, clamping down things, and all of that. So just like
One side I found really useful was film tools. They have sections there which talk about the expendables kind of thing, where you can get a list of all the stuff.
Film tools.
Film tools. FILM tools.
Yeah. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah.
And that shows like all the different film tools. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Check that out.
Filmtools.com. I mean, I guess if I just Google it, it'll be all right.
Yeah, if you do Google film tools, you should get it, I think.
All right, cool.
There's also a thing, I don't remember the name of it, but you use it for paint, to open paint. And it's a very good tool for tripods.
Okay.
Wait. I'll show it.
We used one little thing that was interesting, and that I don't know if there's probably a more professional version of this
Where is it?
for like putting together film equipment and stuff. But when we were I don't know if it's called unclamping or what's the actual term for it.
This is to open cans of paint, but it's perfect to screw tripods at the bottom. If you need to put a plate on, it's perfect for that. I use it all the time on my tripods.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, for our a funny thing with our shoot when we were like recording this little mini thing was Coda had to like unscrew the little mic stand thing, and it was like super tight, and he couldn't undo it. So I have not a bottle opener, but like a lid opener thingy that you like put it and then you press it down, it'll open the lid, and it has like different measurements for different lids. And I was like, try this, because we couldn't do it. And he was like, that's not gonna work. And then it's like, oh, it worked.
Yeah,
And
I think it'll
it's
clamp
kinda like
down on
that.
each side and give you a better grip so you can loosen it. Because some of those get really tight, like the light stands and stuff like that. Some of them can get really tight depending on how it works. If it's like a screw, or if you like, turn a plastic piece to tighten it, or if it's just one of those.
And be careful not to
screws.
over tighten it because it could break it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
but-
think I
Just happened on my
tightened it
set.
too much, but I guess I had to have, because it was super hard to get loose. So I must have
Sometimes
tightened it too much.
sometimes you don't even tighten it a lot, but it's annoying to untighten. Like you don't even tighten it that much, but the little you do, it's already kind of hard to tighten it back, untighten it
loosen it.
back. Yeah, to loosen it back. So I'm sure like Daniel was saying, there's probably something like that that's a little more elegant or whatever, something specific for stuff like that. But yeah, we didn't have it, so we just used my lid opener and it pretty much worked.
Right, and that would be something I might even bring on set, just because you never know.
Yeah, and it's something
Or
like
something
his mom
similar,
got
because
for
that
me
was,
at the Dollar
those are for
Tree.
really big, like jar lids and stuff. So something a little bit smaller would probably be better for film stuff.
And his mom
What
got
I
it for me at the
showed
Dollar
goes on
Tree,
the
so it's
keychain.
just something super cheap.
What
Sorry?
I showed goes on my keychain, so it's easy just to whip out when I need to.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what's always good too, practicality. Just like that, you don't want to be so cumbersome. The guy even in the video is showing, like, you don't want to show up to set and have huge, like basically pouches of stuff hanging from your sides, because it's going to be very cumbersome and very annoying to maneuver around. And in a job like a lighting technician, they need to maneuver around a lot to get into tight spaces for hiding cables or putting cables together or plugging them in or doing whatever they're doing. So they'll have to be up in high spaces, they'll have to be in corners and in tight spots to try to set the lights up the way that it is told to them through either the best boy electric, the gaffer, or the DP, whoever's talking to them, however big the set is.
Honey,
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about it after the recording.
Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, gaffer or best boy electric will call for a specific light, and the lighting tech gets it, and usually they stay with it, they man it, kind of like this little green guy. They'll stay with it and man it until the lighting setup is complete. So they're adjusting it. If whoever's telling them what to do, the gaffer or the best boy electric, if they already have the design and the lighting design, they're gonna be like, oh, move it to the left a little bit, move it to the right, turn it, do this, do that. So the lighting technician will take their light and they'll stay with it until it's set up the way that they want it to, and then they'll continue on to the next light or the next thing. They need to know how to set up and break down different lights quickly and efficiently, need to know about the different kinds of lights and their power consumption and voltage, so that they don't plug it into an outlet that can't handle it, because different outlets are going to handle different amounts of voltage depending on the location. They need to safely operate the different lights using their gloves and tools. Safety is a big thing with lights, because with HMIs and tungstens especially, they can get really hot and they can cause fires if somebody puts a paper down on top of it or something, or it doesn't even think about it. So they have to be really safe, and that's why they're the ones to handle these things, and they're the ones to go near it, because it needs to be on somebody's responsibility and not everybody. That's an echo. You're causing an echo. They're the ones plugging in the lights and outlets for the same reason. They'll plug in any practicals or the production lights, or even lights for other crew members' areas, like the craft services area. They'll be the ones setting up lighting. If it needs a setup of some sort, they'll be the ones doing it for them. Depending on the location you're at, you might be working at night outside, then craft services are going to need some kind of setup, and they need to be able to see. So the lighting department. The lighting technicians are going to be the ones helping with them with that. They're also called sparks. That's another name you'll hear. People call lighting technicians, they'll call them sparks because they're, turning on the lights and turning them off. So they're sparking them or whatever. They also perform lighting tests with light meters and stuff like that so that they can see how much light is on the thing and set it up to the specifications given to them. They also manage the inventory of the bulbs and filters. So they make sure that there's no light bulbs missing and that they have enough for whatever they're doing, and the different filters and for the lights and different fixtures. They say that degrees are not necessary for this line of work. They do help, but you can always just go in from the ground up and work your way up and just gain experience on set, which is cool. They're also known as lighting operators or lighting electricians. So they have different names, but the main one is usually lighting technician. They need to check that all the lighting equipment is working properly before set and during. And that's where those tools come in handy, where, if something is shorting out, they find the problem in the cable and see where it is and if they can fix it or if they need a new cable entirely. They must be comfortable working at heights, and it's a very physical, demanding role. And they usually require a license as well for them to drive the lighting equipment around, since it's most likely going to take a lighting truck or a van of some sort, or just maybe a car even, but that still needs a license. But yeah, they'll be up on like different heights. Like this guy on right here, he's really high up. He's on a crane and he has that platform and he's using that light to mimic sunlight. So he's obviously going to be really high up, and he needs to be comfortable to, not freak out and freeze while he's up there. Also about the lighting technicians, and I'm sure a bunch of other jobs, but all of these types of jobs, but they just said that this one has long hours and a lot of days. So it could be something like 6 days a week, 12 to 14-hour day shifts, depending on if you're working in bigger budget productions or if you're working consistently. Then you might have really long days and work a lot of the week, like 6 days. So just be prepared for that if you want to job something like this. Smaller productions, they might only have like one lighting technician, while larger ones might have multiple. So lighting technicians need to be able to work as an individual and as a group, as a team. So they need to be able to communicate and work well with others, but also work well on their own and be able to be independent. Generally, lighting technicians, this is one of the facts that they said, is like generally lighting technicians need to have the most physical strength and stamina out of all of the film crafts because of the complexity and weight of the equipment that they're carrying. Like we said, up to 150 pounds for the lights, up to 100 and something pounds for the cabling, depending on how much it is. So their job is very demanding and very physical. And so they can tire out easily, which is why they need to have a lot of stamina and strength just to be able to carry that stuff at all. But overall, the people who were talking, they seemed like they were pretty happy. They liked their job. They said, one of them said that they felt like a painter. They're helping. They might not be getting to create the entire painting and come up with the design, but they're helping the people who want that design to create it the way they want. And so they feel like kind of like a painter and they just feel creative. And I think that was a really good way to look at it, no matter what job you have, because most people would probably look at that job and think it's a lot more technical, which it is. But it also helps to, without them, you don't really have that lighting set up and it's a lot harder to get done. The more people you have to get it done, the faster it's going to get done and the quicker you can get production moving, which is efficient and cost effective.
It's also good to see that you're part of the whole masterpiece. Like without you, this piece of art wouldn't be able to come to completion or be as good as it is. So in a way, you are part of the masterpiece. And I thought that was a really nice way of looking at it. not just the technical part, but you make the whole thing to come together. You help make the whole thing come together.
They also say that a lot of lighting technicians go freelance after a little bit because they then they get to choose more of their schedule in a way. They don't have to work as many days if they don't want. They might have to work long hours when they do work, but that will give them the opportunity to take a few days off or take a week off after one job and work another. So a lot of them go freelance because of that. They don't stay consistently working with a company. Unless one company hires them, then they might just go ahead and work with them for like a more secure job, I guess. Yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments about lighting technicians? I just found it interesting how many people go into the lighting department because I didn't know it was this many before I started learning about it. Actually, each department, really. Every department has a lot more people than you initially think just from thinking of a movie, but it makes sense why, because efficiency and speed is the biggest concern so that you're not wasting production days.
This information really lights up my world.
You
You miss me.
You and your dad jokes.
Uncle jokes.
Dad jokes.
Uncle. I'm not a dad. I'm an uncle.
Okay. Uncle jokes. Old people jokes.
You joke like a dad.
You and your lame jokes. Take your pick. I'm just kidding. All right. So does anybody have any questions or anything?
See, Brett laughs at it.
That too, they need to be able to like yell out striking if they're on certain sets, or what's the other one? What's the word for it when they're turning on a light in Canada, Daniel?
You said you're sparking.
Sparking, okay. Sparking or
Sparking
striking, depending on where you're at. They'll be.
I told you it had something to do with sparks.
That's what they call
Striking-
sparks, yeah.
Striking is when you turn it off.
Okay. Well, I've heard it different in different sets, so it depends on what set you're on, but that's why they also need to be able to communicate and know what to call out so people know what they're talking about. Because it just depends where you're at.
Yeah.
Each production might have it different. So just to know what terminology they're going to use for what is good to know. But they're going to need to call that out if they're ever turning on or turning off a light, so people know that it's about to get dark. They're not going to go walking across and trip on a light cable or something if they turn it off. And also so they don't look directly into the light and get blinded when they turn it on, because some of these lights are extremely bright and they can blind you if you're looking directly into it when it's turned on. So safety is a huge thing for this department, just because of, cabling and trip hazards, fire hazards, burning hazards, just like burning their hands or getting hurt, dropping stuff heavy. That's why, steel-toed boots, like he was saying, or steel-toed shoes, just because if they drop something, if they drop it on their feet and break their foot, that's a huge problem. And all of these different things they have to do to secure the lights to things so that the lights don't fall and the lights don't turn. It's a lot of different things just for safety, but it's also just because they need to be able to set it up exactly correct to what the director of photography or the gaffer was specifying to them. Okay, I'm going to share one last thing, and that's just what we're going to learn next week, or not next week, Thursday. For Thursday, we're going over, for Thursday, if I can get to it. Thursday, we're going over setting moods with lighting. So using lights to set different kinds of moods, setting a more darker tone or setting a happier mood or a romantic mood or something like that. Just how you can go about doing it, some tips and tricks and what makes it one way or the other. Realistic versus stylistic lighting and color contrast. And so that's, if you want to make it look realistic and what that's going to look like. And then if you want to go more of a stylistic route with your lights and your lighting setup and how that might look. And then color contrast and how having daylight on your subject and tungsten in the background, or vice versa, or just having like a green for the background or green for one character and purple for another, or different lighting setups like that for color contrast, to have contrast between different parts of the scene or different characters. And we'll learn all about that. And then recording sound in different locations. And I don't know if any of that information is going to be new for that, but if it is, we'll talk about it next week. It'll be probably a lot about, like, I'm hoping it'll be more about like how to record in small spaces compared to large and what the differences are, but we'll see what we get. And that's for Thursday. And then Monday we're going to be watching a movie for its lighting. So if anyone wants to send an idea for a movie for us to watch, it has to be either on Netflix or Amazon or HBO Max or YouTube free.
I'll be working Thursday night, so I'll have to watch the video later.
Okay.
Just give you a heads up. I'll be there for Monday.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah, so if anyone has any ideas for the movie, just let us know, and then we'll look through it, see if it's on there, and then pick through one of those movies for lighting. And it should have, it can be stylistic or it can be realistic.
We don't
but
own Hulu yet, so if you guys can keep it to like YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Netflix, and Disney Plus, like those four are ones we have access to. We don't have access to Hulu yet.
we have Netflix. Our roommate has HBO Max, and our mom has the other one. So
yeah, so if we can accept giving money to the Disney overlords for one night, but yeah, Hulu, we're hoping to finish our Netflix and move on to Hulu for a while, but
anyway, we're going to be using that movie for a lighting mimic exercise where we're going to take a screenshot from that movie and try to copy it with the lighting equipment and the camera or whatever equipment we have available, trying to mimic it as best we can. So that'll be our lighting exercise, and that'll be due November 4th, and that won't start until after Monday when we watch the movie. So
Sounds good.
If anyone has any ideas for it.
So we're talking more about the are we talking more about the short film that we're doing as well? When are we discussing that?
Yeah, actually that was what I was going to bring up next. It's tomorrow we're actually going to do a production meeting for whoever's involved.
Yeah, we're going to have our first pre-production meeting.
What time?
We're just going to go over logistics, schedule, and just like confirming job roles for the short film.
Yeah.
Sounds
it's
great.
not it's 9 p.m. just like regular meetings pretty much.
Okay.
9 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, that way everyone on the West and the East Coast can still get together.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're so excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm already starting to buy stuff for the production. Like I'm gonna buy a battery case so that because I'm also gonna be recording like the behind the scenes. So need some extra juice. So that's going to be good. I'm also looking into, we're going to discuss food, Brent. I'm also looking into like prices of, because apparently some fast food places also do catering. Like I know Chick-fil-A does catering, and I think
yeah, that'll be part of the
Chipotle as
logistics.
well.
We'll go over that
Yeah,
too,
we'll
because
go over
the
that.
crew's not going to be too big, so we're just going to have to like make some compromises in certain areas. And so we're trying to figure everything out, and that's what we'll talk about tomorrow with everybody who's involved.
We considered cooking, but it's just gonna take time away from the actual shoot, and time is going to be really precious for us. We're only going to have those days, and people are taking time off work and that kind of thing. So
yeah, I just want to make sure we get it all done when we get it. Setting up will be the hardest, but we're gonna do like some pre-production tests and stuff, and I'll like send those out to everyone and show them how we might go about getting it, especially with our cinematographer and how we're gonna get the shots and things like that. So and then I'll be sending out the different documents and stuff for everyone to sign, and then I'll start sending out the finalized script, and then we'll just start talking about the different shots, breaking it down and going over everyone's roles and everything like that. So we're really excited to start getting into all that. And our first one will start tomorrow, and anyone who can't make it we will just kind of give you a overview and talk individually to you if we really need to confirm some things and go over different things with you.
Cool. I'm looking forward to the pre-production meeting. I will be there tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see how things go. Looking forward to everything, obviously, and building more stuff. Also, if anyone's like interested in Vancouver, I would like to start shooting some small shoots as well.
I would get in touch with Mai and Shan because I think they're both in Vancouver, and I think Mai was
No,
looking
honey, they're
for-
in Toronto, aren't
They're
they?
not.
Oh wait.
Jan's in
Oh, you're right.
Vancouver.
You're right. It's Vancouver. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
That was my bad.
so that would be cool. Yeah,
Someone's
me
in
and
Toronto.
we talked about Shan, and
Yeah,
then
Yeah,
Danny.
me.
No,
so that would
other
be
than
cool.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I'll
we're
be going to Toronto
definitely
later, but not
yeah,
this-
we're definitely gonna try to have our next shoot in the West Coast. So hopefully that'll be easier for you to make it as well. And
because getting hands-on stuff rocks.
Yeah, definitely.
But I will be going out to Toronto as well, right, Daniel? I'm coming.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
So, I really wanted to come to New York though, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's talk about it tomorrow, and I'll
Yep.
see if it's even worth it. Because like if it's gonna be a 2-day shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna come all the way.
But just a heads up for anyone traveling, for the whole COVID situation, it is hard as hell
Yeah.
to travel.
Yeah,
Especially
let's
internationally, right?
yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Because you need
Yeah,
a passport and stuff.
we'll discuss the logistics of
Yeah, we'll talk
everything.
tomorrow.
But yeah, as far as like if we're traveling to Canada, we would also have to check out logistics as far as that as well.
The passport, and everything.
Yeah,
Right.
restrictions and
I
passports
should have
and
no
stuff.
problem traveling.
No, the
I'm gonna stop
COVID
the recording
passport.
right there.